All right, so I mentioned that there are three clusters in regards to personality disorders. We have cluster A, cluster B, and cluster C. Cluster A are odd or eccentric personality disorders. And so we're going to talk through these three. There's paranoid personality disorder, there's schizoid personality disorder, and then there's schizotypal. And I'll explain each of these in brief. So first off is paranoid personality disorder. If you know the word paranoid, you understand that it's sort of a suspiciousness or mistrust of others, fearfulness about others, and that's what we're really talking about with this disorder. It's a person who tends to sometimes see conspiracies where others see just circumstances. They tend to have a sort of an assumption that other people are out to get them, or that there's things that they should be concerned or worried about. Um, that's the paranoid part of it. And the flip side of that is that they're so focused on the outside, oftentimes they see themselves as blameless, as just, they're not doing anything wrong. It's just everyone else is doing bad things. And so that is a part of the problem, is that there's such a divergence between how they view other people and how they view themselves. And so if and of course, the consequence of that is that they're always on guard. They are worried that they're going to be attacked or taken advantage, or that they're going to have someone who tries to con them in some way. And you can imagine that if you're always, it's like the opposite of gullible. If you're always assuming that someone's out to get you, that can create its own problems. Gullibility is a problem, but the reverse, this paranoia of always assuming that people are trying to prank you or get you, or worse, harm you, that creates a vigilance that can make you difficult to deal with. And so we know roughly in the population, there's about a 1.5% prevalence in the general population. So this is fairly common. And males and females tend to have similar levels. So it's not more common in males or females. It seems to be kind of equal. All right, so that's paranoid personality disorder. Secondly, you have schizoid personality disorder. So you've got Squidward here. He kind of captures this idea fairly well. This is a person who has impaired social relationships. And the key here is to recognize that they don't want they don't desire attachment to others. It doesn't bother them that they don't have close relationships. So they go about their life and they just have kind of a distance from other people. They're unable and don't have that desire to form friendships and connections. They're just kind of happy on their own. Now, if you recall, personality disorders, if they're happy on their own, well, why do we call it a personality disorder? It's really not about them. It's about something. The consequences of this is that it has an impact on other people that bothers them or troubles them, or makes it difficult for this person to work with others, and that's really the problem. And the prevalence, one estimate is that about 1.2% in the general population has this personality disorder, schizoid, and that males have higher levels than females. Okay. The third cluster A personality disorder is schizotypal personality disorder. And if you recognize this man here, he's actor in the TV series Seinfeld. His name was Kramer, and I think he fits this pretty well. Schizotypal is a person who has peculiar thought patterns. Their way of processing information and experiences is very different from the rest of us in this regard. So they have oddities of perception and speech that interfere with how they communicate with other people and how they interact with other people. again, they just seem to be odd and not fit in. And so you'll notice that this name here, schizotypal, um, it sounds a lot like schizophrenia, and the research has actually found, and they came up with this idea before the research came out, but the research has shown that this is related to schizophrenia. They've got similar genetic propensities to this disorder as to schizophrenia, and so they kind of think of this as sort of a continuum of schizophrenia, schizotypal being a less severe version of schizophrenia, and schizophrenia proper, the diagnosis, is a more severe case. And the prevalence of schizotypal personality disorder is about 1.1% in the general population. And like schizoid, the prevalence is higher among males than among females.